Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Board Game Geek 10 versus 10. I'm Mike.
I'm Nick.
I'm Steph.
And we, the three amigos, are back, ready to compare our board game tastes against the taste of the people.
It's like a good chili. You just keep throwing stuff in.
Keep throwing stuff into that chili. Keep it up stirring.
Let it simmer. The longer it simmers, the better it gets.
Yeah, Steph, you like chili metaphors? Because we got a lot loaded up.
Yeah, except it's a little too spicy for me.
Okay, fair enough.
Chili,
a nice mild chili.
Nice
that's
mild.
that's the kind of list we're bringing you. No, we're doing tile placement games this week. Tile placement, which we found out is a wide range.
What games lay tiles? You're like, like 90%
Every
of
game.
games.
You got some cardboard in that game? Does that cardboard get placed down on something? You just place a tile.
You
Boom,
got a
that's
tile
tile
laying
placement. But we're going to rank our favorite tile laying, tile placement games, and we're going to compare them against the list that has been generated by the people. Now you can do that by ranking your games on BoardGameGeek.com, and that will actually change where games appear in the overall rankings. And if we go to a specific mechanic like tile placement, you'll see it reflected there as well. So we're going to go through the top 10 highest rated tile placement games voted on by you and compare it to the top 10 tile placement games in our 3 hearts combined.
Ready.
You ready to rock?
You ready to do this list? All right, so number 3 from Board Game Geek, you the good folks, is like an old game because there's a newer version of this
number
game.
3 from Board Game Geek.
Oh,
Yeah,
'cause I was
3.
thinking
It's
of
number 10.
Number 10. You were thinking. Explain yourself.
Okay, well, number 10 from Board Game Geek is Twilight Imperium 3rd edition. So I had numbers that was getting all
We were
mixed
thinking
up.
it's 3rd edition, not 4th edition.
It's 3rd edition, not 4th edition, but no matter what, 3rd edition is number 10.
something.
I could not say it more clearly. Twilight Imperium 3rd edition is number 10, which is an overall rank of 59.
Yeah.
I
think I'm the only one who's played TI something, right?
Yes, and so
Yeah,
it's a
clear
giant...
something up for me, because isn't it more of like a exploration game than a tile placement game?
Yes, but again, this is the thing with tile placement. It's like you do sometimes place tiles, so it falls under tile placement. And
How
that's
can you
to me,
explore if there's no tile to explore?
yeah, this is a big 4X like political game. Like it's not really. I would not really consider a tile placement, or at least that's not what I would think of when I think of to explain
but it does
this game
have
to
it in
someone.
it. I think that's going to happen. That's going to be a theme on this list.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, you have games that have so many different mechanics in it. It's super cool, but they end up falling across a really wide. Like we talk about a lot of the same games a lot because a lot of the most popular games out there have a big
a bunch of
amount of mechanics. And TI3, TI4, it's a big 4X space game. Everybody takes a faction. Your factions all work differently, and you're trying to get to 10 points over the span of many hours.
So many hours.
People keep saying they can play the
1.1
game.
hours. It's like a ratio, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's
if you're
2
lucky.
hours per player.
And the fact that it exists is good enough to be number
I'd play
10.
it again,
It's
ultimately,
your number 10. And Nick would play it again. That means it must be his number 100
not,
or something. But that is Twilight Imperium 3rd edition at number 10 for you, the folks at Board Game Geek. So let's go ahead and get into our number 10.
Our number 10 is Colonist. That's ranked 398 overall. Now, this is another big game.
You can get all these fillers on this
I
list.
know.
What's
What
with all
the
the
heck?
fillers? I don't get it.
Give me something beefy.
Fillers are coming up in a minute. So Colonist is a big game. You're collecting these different tiles for your board, and you're going to incur like income every round, and there's tiles that will be placed on the board to create your whole map of actions that you can possibly move and do different things. So there's a couple different variations of tile placement in this game, and it's not your typical tile placement kind of game, but there is tile placement, and it's hard not for me. It's for me not to love it. It's just there's so much to do and so much engine to build, and it's just a lot of fun.
I love
You
that.
got a carburetor. You got an alternator. Other
got a
words that
converter.
end in
You really got to
ator.
be a mechanic in this game.
You got an alligator.
Steel wheelinator. It's all good, man. Shiftinator. It's so sweet.
I do really want to try Colonists because I'm sheer curiosity.
Yeah, me too.
And you don't have to play the full thing. It's just, there's 4
true.
ages. So you can just play the first age and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then you'll want to play more.
See,
I
that's
think
how
I
they hook
would
you
like
in.
it.
They hook you in the first age, and you're like, don't you want to do a lot more than you did before? And you're like, well, yeah, the second age is way cooler. And let me tell you, the 4th age is crazy. And you're like, well, I want to see the 4th age.
It is. It's totally crazy and wonderful.
Yeah, there you go.
We're gonna
Very
do it.
satisfying.
We're gonna do it.
So you just should check it out. It's really good.
Yeah.
I'm down. We will check out The Colonists, as should all of you folks. It's good enough for our number 10. But let's go ahead and get into Board Game Geek's number 9. So number 9 is coming in at rank number 52 overall, and it is Dominant Species,
Yes.
where you...
Ooh. See, again, I wouldn't think of this as a tile placement game, but I love it. So
Yeah,
I
but
accept.
again, it's like, yeah, but you place tiles. It's like, again, this is a wide category.
I know, the
This
whole
is a
thing
good
about you
game.
saying, like, this isn't how I would define tile placement. Maybe tile placement defies definition.
I think so. I think we need to hone in on like a more specific,
Yeah.
like polyominoes.
Yeah,
Yes,
we will get into some
which there will be.
specific.
I think
We should do a polyomino list. Yeah,
We
we should. We'll get into some more specific. Like, this is a tile lay game. That's what you do.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
But
that's the mechanic of the game. But yeah.
Yeah. But dominant species, everyone takes a type of animal. You could be like the arachnids. You could be the mammals. You could be soccer moms. You could be a whole bunch of different stuff. And you're essentially trying to become the dominant species, as I'm sure you can understand.
ain't no one taking down the soccer mom.
I know, man. They got
happening.
orange slices. They never run out of food. You know, it's great.
Their band can hold 100 children. It's terrifying.
But Steph,
yeah,
you
you're-
like dominant species, right?
Oh my goodness, love it, love it.
Yeah. I liked it too. I want to try it again.
Do you love it because there's so much tile placement?
No.
Okay.
Okay, good enough.
That's all
It's
we
a
need
good.
to know.
It's a better worker placement game.
Yes, I agree.
With some tile placement in there somewhere.
Yes.
And that's why it's number 9, ranked 52 overall, so it's a well-liked game. Dominant Species is Board Game Geek's number 9. Let's go ahead and jump into our number 9.
Number 9, King Domino at number 215 overall. Now, guys, I love this game, but have you played with the Queen Domino version?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, we got both
So
right
good.
over there.
Both
and Age of
versions.
Giants.
I personally like King Domino more, though.
No.
Mike disagrees. This is one of our things that we disagree on.
But Nick's argument about King Domino that it's easier to get into is absolutely true. So I have to say you were right. You were absolutely right. But on the side, I still love Queen Domino more.
See,
but
I
you're
don't.
absolutely
and
correct.
I do too. Sorry, because
See?
there's more strategy and
Yes.
and
There is,
even
but-
with more expansions, like the giant expansion, there's even more to think about, and I just have a better time playing with more depth, I guess.
There's plenty enough room in the world for both. I played King Domino last night and loved it. So
Yeah.
it's good, but I'd say it's a classic tile placement game.
that's
'Cause
all
you
you're
just grab
doing
a
that game is
tile,
placing tiles.
You place that tile. Next round, grab a
That,
tile.
that is the mechanic.
place that
So
tile. That's all you
good
do.
job
Yeah.
picking that.
I don't know. To me, it's like King Domino is just perfect. It's super simple. It's easy. It's quick. For that game, I don't need more than that. And I like Queen Domino just fine. But I like
it's a
King Domino
good-
more
that's
because
good
it's
chili,
what,
dude.
to me, that game should be. And
good
it should
chili.
be light, simple, quick.
Yeah.
But that's personally my thing.
That's fine. Yeah, either way, it's good. It's just you're building a little kingdom or queendom if you're playing Queen Domino, and you are trying to match land types, kind of like you would do match dominoes and numbers. And you have to kind of build out large areas with crowns in them so they can score points as like a multiplier. Each crown multiplies the amount of spaces that land area is. And it's kind of beauty in its simplicity because it's just grabbing those tiles, placing those tiles. I can't break it down smoother than that. That's tile placement at its core.
Yeah.
You know, and that's good enough for number
enough for us.
number whatever
Number
number
9.
9.
Yeah, Mike.
I don't have
Proud of
numbers
you,
in
dude.
my brain today.
Number
I can't
9. That
do
was
it.
our number 9. Let's go ahead and get into Board Game Geeks number 8.
Try Queen Domino, the right stuff, Steph, right? Queen Domino? Yes.
Queen Domino, always.
Always. Number 8 from you, the folks at Board Game Geek, is Keyflower. Number 51 overall. Dominant species is 52. This is 51.
We're already in the top 50s.
Dang, this is a game in
People
which
like it.
you go through 4 seasons of a year,
Yeah.
and you're trying to, you do put tiles out, these hexagonal tiles around to kind of build up a village where you can get different types of production to get resources, and then kind of move those resources around, transport them for kind of scoring opportunities as you move throughout the year.
Yeah.
So this one I feel like fits the tile placement vibe. Like, you know.
It does, yeah. I still consider it more of like I think of it first as a worker placement, but it definitely does have a lot
Sort
of
of a
top
meeple
placement.
passing
It's definitely
game.
more tile placement than dominant species.
For sure, for
Yes.
sure.
We're heading in the right direction. We can all agree on
Yes,
that.
we're getting there. We're getting there, you know.
Yeah,
That
what do you think
Keyflower's
of?
great.
Yeah, what do you think of Keyflower, Steph? I can't recall.
Oh, I'm okay on this game.
Right. You like other key
You
games
like the
better.
other key games
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
one is a little bit mean for me, and
A little bit.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this with, I think if I remember correctly, Steph, you like key flow more than key flower
Oh,
because it's
for
not quite
sure.
as
We
mean.
certainly
Yeah,
do,
we're in the
we
same
all-
boat because it's not quite as mean.
Yeah,
Right.
you can like use each
Plus
other's village
drafting.
or each other's villages without hurting them, or
Yeah.
it's just kind of a little smoother in general. But Keyflower is much like Keyflow, where you're kind of going through that year and preparing for the season. And I do enjoy. In Keyflower, it's fun to build up your little city because in Keyflow it's simplified. You have 2 rows of cards and they have to kind of match. In Keyflower, you kind of build pathways and stuff, which is kind of fun to mess with. It feels tile placement for that reason, and that's why it's
But
number
Keyflower
8.
ultimately is a good game. I like Keyflower a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, it's 51 overall. People like Keyflower.
love it, man. People
Just
love
fine.
that key stuff.
It's good enough for number 8 at Board Game Geek. So let's go ahead and jump into our number 8.
oh my goodness, coming in at number 8 is the Isle of Cats, ranked 780. Now, last we talked about this in the 2019, the last list. It was like in the 1300s, so it's already jumped so much because it
Everyone's
is
got
that
it in their little cat paws now. And they're
It is
ranking
that good, yeah. So Mikey finally just got to play this for the first time.
Yes, and it's great. I
Yeah.
loved it. It got talked up. Y'all had played it together.
Yeah, we got to play it in January. It was so fun.
And this one, it is super interesting because it's polyomino tiles, and you're trying to fit them on these boats. But then it has this card drafting stuff to it, which I know isn't the tile placement part, but that was so interesting to mess with, about like getting baskets to play cats, but then you need fish to pay for the cats.
Yeah.
And boots so I can go first, but then there's lessons so I can score at the end. There's just so much going on. I just want to play it again.
It's better than I think.
So we actually played with Module E recently, and it was just so mean. E is for evil, so don't play with E.
Really?
Well, that's
What
cool.
fun. I didn't
like,
know there were so many modules.
yeah, I like a game that can give you kind of
Which one
different
did we
gaming
play?
experiences.
I think we just played A, B, and C.
Okay.
So there's different like modules that you can mix and match these different letters.
I wasn't teaching the game, so I was just like, I'm just here to have fun.
Yeah, for sure. And so one of the modules is the letter E, if you have, I think, the expansion or something. And all of the lesson cards are negative points for other people.
Oh.
So our scores were very low, but it was still
Wow.
fun.
That's wild.
How can we destroy our opponent's whole thing they built up? Like, oh, you have red cats? That's a mistake.
That's
You're
too
like,
bad
why?
for you.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I want to play it again so bad. And that's
Yeah,
why
you
it's
got it.
our number 8. We got to play it. We should all play it. No, Steph will crush me, actually. Never mind. I'll watch you play. I'll watch you play other people. That'd be better. But that is I Love Cats at number 8 for us. Let's go ahead and get into Board Game Geek's number 7. All right, number 7 from you, the folks at Board Game Geek, is Robinson Crusoe Adventures on the Cursed Island, which
time
comes
to
in
die,
at number
everybody.
46. Yeah. Everyone get ready, because it's going to go poorly.
perish horribly. Because snakes climbed into your clothes.
Yeah, so this one has tile placement in that you are sort of exploring the island and revealing these hexagonal tiles to show animals, potential resources, potential natural shelters, and things like that. So that's kind of the main way that the tile placement shows up. But what's everyone think of Robinson Crusoe, other than it hurts?
It hurts.
It's difficult for sure.
Yeah, it's hard.
I enjoy the challenge. I haven't won a game yet, so.
Is that right?
I think
Yeah.
I've won one.
I've won like 2, I think.
or maybe 2. Yeah,
So
but
you've played it probably more than me because I've only played it a few times, but each time we just got hammered. So
It's hard. It is just. I played with my roommate recently, and we won pretty handedly, but we got very lucky. Like,
yeah,
there was a
how-
I
lot
don't
of
roll
bad
those dice
stuff.
very well, so
Yeah.
it doesn't work out.
Yeah, we mostly got successes when we did have events. They got shuffled in the event deck, and they never came up.
That's lucky.
And
yeah.
it was just straight luck. Not that the game is super, super lucky. Usually it evens out, but this time we just got the perfect rolls, the perfect hand. We were able to win pretty handedly. But I was like, don't take this as how this game is usually going to
No,
go.
it's punishing. It's built to punish.
Yeah.
And I don't mind it in this instance because we seek it out. You know, we've talked about we don't all love Agricola that much because it's punishing, but you're kind of like trying to do other stuff. This one, it's like, they say it's a cursed island, and you go there, and you're like, well,
it is
yeah.
a cursed island. There's a
not
lot
fun.
of bad stuff there.
But yeah, so do check it out if you want a really tough cooperative challenge that you probably won't win, but you'll hopefully have fun. That is Robinson Crusoe at number 7 from you, the folks at Board Game Geek. So let's go ahead and jump into our number 7.
Number 7 is probably one many people are familiar with, is Carcassonne at 163 Board Game Geek ranking. Now,
I don't play small indie games, only play big games.
I love Carcassonne.
So,
Don't get me wrong. So good.
So the cool thing is, like, when we're saying Carcassonne, it's the overarching, all of it. Like, people all have, like, specific types of Carcassonne.
Which expansion, which version.
So we'll just say that this covers all of it, because in all of them, you are placing tiles down to build out a landscape of types. And in, like, base Carcassonne, the main rule you got to focus on is you got to make the landscape make sense.
Yes.
If it's grass, you can't put a city that's all of a sudden popping out of nowhere. You can put the borders of a city that have grass on the side, and the grass touches the grass, and then you have a city, and you can have city touch city, and you build things out. And you can kind of put meeples down to claim roads and cities that are being built, and if ever those get completed, you'll then score those things and get those meeples back. So, I mean, this one, like, on Board Game Geek, if you click on tile placement and it's talking about what this mechanic is, Carcassonne is the referenced game.
Yeah, it's true.
It is the quintessential
all you do.
tile placement. So, Steph, I'm curious, do you have a favorite Carcassonne? Do you have, like, a direction you like to go? What do you like to do?
I have played almost all of them at this point, and I really like the series. But my favorite out of all of them is Star Wars.
Really? See, I never played Star Wars.
Star Wars, there's dice, and the battles are just hilarious.
What are you
you can just go in and claim anybody's, like, cathedral, if you will, their planets. But you can just go in and be like, I'm taking you over, and roll dice and just go for it.
I love it. So just wackiness. That's wonderful.
Awesome. What fun.
Yeah.
This game, I like base Carcassonne, no expansions.
Well, you gotta have the river.
Well, the river maybe, but that's it. Like, I just like base Carcassonne. Like, I don't need anything else. We used to have Carcassonne Amazonas, and we got rid of it because we were just like, I just want I don't need any. I don't need.
Although this Star Wars one might be.
That does sound like fun.
I didn't know about that.
I'm down to play any of them.
Yeah.
But, like, me personally, if I had to choose, I just want, kind of like King Domino, I just want it to be this easy, fun experience. You know, I don't need it to be also, now there's a dragon is destroying tiles, or, you know, it's like,
I mean, maybe.
You know, there's so much Carcassonne out there because it's been one of those.
Yeah, but you don't know what you're missing. That's the thing. So, like, with Carcassonne, the city, you're actually building walls, and you get, like, confined, and you're like, oh, well, I have to do this now. Or with Carcassonne over Hill and Dale, I just learned the other day, there's actually, like, a cool, like, wandering mechanic where the meeple can move along the roads to score points if you don't do anything else with meeples. So there's a lot of interesting tweaks to the rules in these different versions, and that's why I like playing them, versus, like, yeah. You should, because they're really cool how they manipulate different, like, little things that make it just a lot more interesting. And I really love the base game Carcassonne too, so don't get me wrong, I do love that. So
It's one of the best gateway games out there for a reason. It's just,
absolutely,
it's so good,
and that's why it's our number 7. You can't have tile placement and not talk about Carcassonne. It's just a rule. It's a rule in life. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and get into Board Game Geek's number 6. Number 6 from Board Game Geek, number 43 overall, is Azul. Now, I always think when you tile placement, it has to be cardboard.
Me too.
But this one, it's like little, even like, I think thematically, it's like little tiles.
But in this one, it's doubly, because you're placing tiles actually, but you're also placing tiles thematically.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're doing.
It's a double tile placement game.
Tileception.
it's so meta.
So
that's awesome. Yeah, Azul is like another, we were talking about Carcassonne being a great gateway game. Azul is like one of the great gateway games now,
especially
I feel like.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think of base Azul? Are you a fan of the series in general, Steph?
Yeah, I prefer the newer ones more than Azul, just base. So, like, the Summer Pavilion offers a lot more flexibility with the tiles because there's a wild tile and you can hold on to some. And so, for me, that just works the best because it's less punishing than Azul can be. So.
That's fair. Yeah, you can set people up for big trouble because if they basically grab...
Yeah, and that's what happens in every game. Everybody's like, Steph, target her! And then that's what happens.
Yeah, I don't want it. I don't want those tiles. I can't take them.
I like base Azul more than the stained glass one. Mike disagrees. But I do want to try Summer Pavilion really bad because I actually haven't had a chance to.
Yeah, part of my thing is I've played Base Azul a lot, so it's I don't think it's bad. I've played it.
Yeah,
I've
you've
played it enough.
You've played it way more than
But
I
obviously,
have.
I wouldn't have
probably
played it to that
overplayed
point if
it.
I didn't like it.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Come back to it in a year, and you'll be like, "Wow, this game's so good."
yeah, it's actually
Probably,
a really good
yeah,
point.
you're
I
not
probably
wrong.
should just take a sabbatical from it and then be like, "What's this game like?" And I'll probably be like, "This is so fun," but I really want to try Summer Pavilion.
Yeah, you got it.
And I imagine Summer Pavilion will rank higher in the future. But Base Azul's around, it's available, it gets in front of people's faces, and it's a great game. So it's number 6 from BoardGameGeek and number 43 overall. Pretty well liked, and it doesn't help that it's very pretty to look
is
at.
very pretty.
Because it's nice and colorful with those actual tiles. So that's number 6 for you, the folks at BoardGameGeek. So let's go ahead and jump into our number 6.
Number 6 will come to no surprise to people who might know me. It is Gigopolis at number 378 overall. And you are actually placing tiles here, so it's totally a tile placement game.
Because it's an appropriate choice.
Yes. Well, that's what's so great about Gigopolis. There's so many amazing things to love about Gigopolis, and tile placement is just one of them.
Well, yeah, and this one you don't. I mean, it's even next level because don't you build your tiles up like you
do.
are?
You can either be expanding the city outward or upward, depending on the choices that you make with the cards that you draft. So there's a lot of great choices and everything. There's so much tension, and there's never a good option, and you never have what you need. And it's about making the best decision with the worst hand possible.
Isn't that such a weird thing about board games? You're like, you never have what you need. You never have a good option. And it's great.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Like, isn't that such a weird concept
Because
about board games?
I think we as board gamers appreciate a challenge, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know Steph, it seems like you definitely do, and so that game is built around being adaptable. You have to make do with what you got,
And that's
crunch
exactly
over
why
that
I love
puzzle. Yeah, and like it's a weird thing, but I think there's a lot of board gamers like no one wants a game to be a breeze.
No.
Unless you're playing like a light filler game.
Yeah,
like King
of course.
Domino can be easy and you can talk through it. But yeah, it's a weird thing of we're like, it hurts so bad, it's great. You know, you're like, what? We're all seeking punishment.
I love it.
Yeah, so Gigopolis, I love the idea of the tiles being like multi-use or having different ways they can be employed. Like you said, expand the city, raise the city. There can be reasons to do both, and depending on your cards and what you got in life going on, you might need to do one or the other, even if it's not exactly the perfect thing. It's just the best thing you have available.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. So everyone go check out Gigopolis, which is our number 6. Let's go ahead and jump into Board Game Geeks. Number 5. So number 5 from Board Game Geek, ranked number 41 overall, is Eclipse, another kind of big space 4X game.
Yeah.
Much like TI3 appeared earlier on the list. This one, those tiles appear in a similar way where you're flipping over these tiles to kind of explore space. And what you reveal will show, well, there's an ancient monster there, or there's these planets where you can sort of exploit for resources. As you sort of spread out.
But you're also upgrading your technology, which is also tile placement in my mind. So there's a little bit more.
I guess
tile
that is
That's
true.
a very,
you're right.
You're absolutely right. That's a very good point. It is. It's not. I always think of tile placement in terms of building something, but I guess you're building up your engine, aren't you?
Yeah.
So it counts. So yeah, it's got tile placement all throughout the game. Good point, Steph. Dang.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you like Eclipse? Are you into?
Oh man, it just barely missed this list. It's so good.
It did, yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
It's sitting over there, and we didn't tell it that it didn't make the list, but it is fun, right? It's big and heavy, so it doesn't get to our table personally as often as we'd like it. But every time I play it, I'm like, oh, this is really fun.
Yeah. There's a lot to love because it's going to change every game. You don't know what texts are going to come out, and you don't know what tiles you're going to flip. It's just so much replay there that you just want to find out more and do more.
And then if you go to the player sides that are a little bit variable, it's nice. It's not huge, but it gives you maybe a direction to go in or a little bit of a thing.
Yeah, this
so
is
it might
my
further
go-to like
change.
4X space game. Like I instead of playing TI4, I played this. I understand it's not this big. It's not political like TI4 and stuff. But like to me, I'm like, I'll just play Eclipse. It's long, it's big, it's beefy. It hits all those boxes that I want out of that kind of game without all the rest. And so
I think we all pretty much agree on that one. Eclipse is like more all
That's
of
my
our
4X
speed.
game, yeah.
That's all.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good enough for number 5 at Board Game Geek, number 41 overall.
Cheer.
Cheer, man. So let's go ahead and jump into our number 5.
Our number 5.
Our number 5 is Baron Park at $2.89. Now I know, Nick, this is like one of your faves, right?
I love Baron Park.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, make a bear park.
I like polyomino tile games. It's super cute. I like it. This is a straight polyomino tile placement game. You each have your own park. It's a bear park. You only have bears in it, except for koalas, apparently. And so you're essentially drafting out these tiles and then placing them on your board. And on your board, there's different iconography that you can cover up, like a cement truck or a wheelbarrow. And essentially, if you cover up like a wheelbarrow, then you get to grab more tiles from the wheelbarrow area. So you're essentially covering stuff up to get more tiles, which then next turn you can place a new tile on there. And you're essentially trying to build it out and score in all these different little ways. But it's like such a good kind of gateway level game for people because
Very
it's
accessible.
just so different than anything people who don't play modern board games have played. And it's just charming. It's Phil Walker Harding, who we absolutely love, because he just does that family weight, easy to understand, but just incredibly charming and fun game so well. And Baron Park, obviously has done very well for him.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it should. I think it's incredible. We just got the expansion, the Bad News Bears expansion, which is also really fun. I love Baron Park. I think it's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
You speak highly of it,
Yeah.
and I agree. What do you think, Steph? Are you a Baron Park
Oh
fan?
yeah, for sure. I think
polyomino.
it's charming, like you say. I mean, I don't think it's gonna like hit my table frequently. I mean, there are other things, tile placement games I might play, like number 9 or something. But it's definitely one that comes out once or twice a year, and I think it's perfectly cute. And I really want to play the expansions to see if that adds more content for me.
It does, actually. The expansion gets kind of tough, like especially if you're playing with both the modules. Like it's hard.
Yeah,
hard.
or
I mean,
Baron
it's not,
Park. Yeah.
Again, it's not Eclipse, but it's like it's
Well,
tougher.
see, that might be something I would appreciate.
Although
this
the
game more,
bears
so.
do go into space
It's crazy.
and start taking over other planets. Yes, so it's
There's a
it
world
gets little
domination
more
module. It's pretty
Eclipse-y
cool.
than not. Yeah.
No,
my
but it
goodness.
is. I think you hit it right, Steph. It's a cute game, and I like that. It's just everyone like has like a little smile on their face and they're like, That's good. Sometimes I just want something chill like that.
Yeah.
And it's tile placement. I love the little puzzle of the polyominoes. It's super fun because you're trying to fill your park first and be the first to complete little sections to get bear statues. So you really kind of want to be efficient with your placement and get those good tiles out that give you points and stuff. So it's just fun. It's just fun.
Yeah,
It's
just
good
fun.
enough for
Baron Park.
our number 5, that Baron Park. Let's go ahead and jump into Board Game Geeks number 4.
Joint 4, joint 4, joint 4.
What? Number 4, as Nick said, is the same for both of us. It's Caverna the Cave Farmers and number
I love when this
27.
happens. Here's the thing, people.
Number 4 for everyone.
We're all the same, right?
We're all together in this.
We all love Caverna just the same amount. Good job, people. Proud of you.
Little dwarf farmers.
Just got to get intimate with the audience, you know?
So this one has tile placement in a big way because you're building out your farm, you're building out your cave, and you're putting down tiles and then putting down little animals and things on those tiles. and stuff.
Donkeys.
Donkeys
all
are
that is-
great. I like getting dogs. I like having a pet.
Yeah. And Steph, we know you love Caverna.
Yeah. So rap about it. Give us the brief. Why do you like it as a tile placement game?
As a tile placement game, because
Or
every
whatever.
game you can focus on something new. If somebody's doing adventures, well, maybe you can do farming, or you can build up your cave and do all these different things. So I always go for like end game tiles that score lots of points at the end, but I also like to try and focus on farming a little bit, collect those animals because I have googly eye animals that are so cute and I
That
want to
is
use
true.
them. But the game is basically a worker placement game where you go out on the board and you collect resources or animals or buildings and do all these different types of things to help improve your personal player board, where you can have the buildings and your animals and all these different things. So you're just trying to grow as a family, cave, you're mining
Yeah.
and all these different things. So
The amount of tiles in this game overwhelms me.
Man.
well, then don't
it's-
play with the expansion because it totally.
I know.
I
But I
wanna
want to,
play-
though. I love
it's
the
so
game.
good. It totally changes everything. It's wonderful.
There's so many buildings. I'm always just like, I have no idea. Kind of like another game that's going to come up, another Uwe game that's tile placement. It's like, I feel like just pick a strategy. And they're all
That's it.
viable,
I mean,
which is nice.
You look at the tiles that's available to you and be like, okay, I'm just going to focus in on this one. And it says I can overhang my farming tiles or my cave tiles and get extra points that way. So then you just focus on that and just do that. And then you have the whole board of overhanging tiles, and it works. You get a lot of points, and you focus in and do one thing, and you're good.
Yeah, we don't have Caverna, but I'm constantly on the look for a good sale. Because if we found it for like a good sale price, we'd probably pick it up.
Yeah, like it's... Every time we play it, we really like it, and plus we can googly-eye
stuff, which doesn't hurt.
Sounds.
Doesn't hurt.
Look up on BoardGameGeek. There's a lot of people have done that. I don't know if any of them are your picture, Steph, but people put the googly eyes, and
that's probably all mine for the what it's worth. But
pretty hilarious.
We'll make sure to include some in this video too.
Yes, indeed.
So what you've seen in there is Steph's work, and it just like adds to the charm. Like I think it's absolutely appropriate to bling out your game in that specific way.
Yeah, exactly.
Googly eye your game.
Most games would be enhanced with googly eyes.
Everyone.
But no, that is our joint number 4. Good
Everyone
job,
agrees
people.
it's the 4th best tile placement game.
I totally agree. So that's our joint number 4. Let's go ahead and get into, I guess, now BGG's number 3.
Once again, they're number 3. So number 3 from BoardGameGeek is another Uwe Rosenberg game, which Nick kind of made a hint about. It's ranked 23 overall. It's A Feast for Odin, which
Pick a strategy. Just do that.
Yeah. I always think of it as a worker placement game, but everything you're doing with worker placement is to get resources and then tiles to then place your tiles out. Ultimately, it's all for the tile placement.
Everything comes down to you doing this to get tiles to place.
Upgrade
and
those tiles.
that really is.
Place those tiles.
Yeah.
What do you think, Steph, of Feast for Odin?
Amazing.
Right. We've talked about it before, and it's going to keep coming up on lists. I'm sorry, people.
So good.
Mike would say it's the greatest game ever made.
One could come up with a solution that it is the greatest game of all time.
I could concur almost. I mean, it's right there for me.
That's good enough for me.
It was up there for me,
That's
too.
good
It was
enough
in my top
for me.
5, so...
we all agree it's at least way up there, if not the best, which it is.
It's so good. But yeah, so... like 6 different worker placement spots. Again, it's like one of those giant Uwe games where you kind of just, the fun of, for me, in something like Caverna or definitely something like Feast for Odin, is just like every game, I don't care about winning. I just want to try something new.
Yeah.
I'm just going to try and do this. You get these occupation cards, and sometimes the occupation card is like, you can turn beans into fish. And I'm like, I'm just going to do that. And that's all I'm doing. My whole entire life is going to be about turning beans into fish.
Somehow.
Well, that's just it. You have to go, again, with what you get. And if the cards lead you in that direction, you want to try and do that because they will help you a lot.
Yes,
those cards.
And now, Steph, have you played with Norwegians, the Norwegians expansion?
Oh, it's necessary.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
All the little mini promos, I have it all. It's just like,
we do too.
I have to have it because I love it so much.
Elevates everything even just a little higher. It's just fantastic. But I like that you do all this worker placement. There's lots of different directions to go. And then when you get there, the tiles, I like that it's now polyomino, and you have to put together this little puzzle on top of everything else that you're doing. So it's just an added little bit that's just fun. I mean, Feast for Odin is just so interesting to explore that, I mean, it's ranked high on all of ours. It might show up because it's just BoardGameGeek's list. It's number 23 overall, so the people all agree it's fantastic. And it's BoardGameGeek's number 3 tile placement game, A Feast for Odin. So let's go ahead and get into our number 3.
Number 3 is Suburbia, ranked 122 overall on BGG. This is a pretty cool game. I know you guys love it.
Delicious.
So much that we got the collector's edition and do not regret it.
Oh my god, you went all in for that.
Yeah, we
did.
sure did.
Oh yeah.
It's like a cube.
We don't usually do that.
No, we do not.
We got a wild hair in us, and we said we're going for it. We're going for the big bad.
We do not get like deluxe versions of games or collectors. We are not. It's just not something we have much interest in. We also don't generally have the money for it. But Suburbia we were just like,
I had to do it. I had to do it.
Is it really? Is it worth it, guys? Is it awesome?
It's nice. I don't know if it's worth it.
It's one of those things where if you, like, we owned Suburbia and Suburbia Inc., which I think is an essential expansion. We had that already. If you have that and or whatever, if you have the 5-star expansion, you don't need it. But if you don't have Suburbia and you have some extra cash, why not get the big fancy one that has Suburbia Inc. in it, has the 5-star expansion, has the nightlife expansion, and it's beautiful, and it has the nice kind of double layered
Game tracing.
game tracing board. So it's one of those. I'm like, I don't know.
It's
pretty nice.
Very well organized, and it legitimately makes the game easier to play.
There's a few, yes.
Because everything has its own tray,
takes up
and for
less
the most
table
part,
space.
you can keep things in their spot. And so it's actually, because think about Suburbia. Suburbia is a big sprawling game because everyone has their own borough. It's a city building game. You're putting down hex tiles. It's very much a tile placement. And everyone has their own borough, which takes up space. But then you have like all these different boards,
you can
and
buy
this one stuff's more contained. And I
Yeah.
legit think it makes it easier to get to the table, despite the fact that it's like much bigger.
Yeah, it weirdly takes up less space than the original. So maybe if nothing else, for that reason alone, it's a pretty
It does take
decent
up
buy.
more space on a shelf, though.
Just about triple. Just about triple. That's
yeah,
it.
Suburbia's
but
outstanding.
Suburbia's a fantastic.
Is it the same quality tiles and stuff, or
No,
is
they're
it like a
better,
little bit
I think.
nicer?
They're little.
I think they're a little better, and there's new art and all that kind of stuff. I think they're all better. Yeah, I think they're higher quality.
They feel nice.
We got rid of our old copy now because we don't. So I can't do it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, they feel nice in
I
the
mean, that's just it. I
organization's good.
have the old one. I have like an insert. I have all these things.
You don't
and
need to
so
do
I
that.
don't know if I need it, but I kind of want it.
I'd maybe wait for
Totally.
a sale. I'd wait for a sale, or you know, if someone would go,
Secondhand.
yeah, because
It is.
it
nice,
is really
though.
nice. I bet you would appreciate it if you like Suburbia. It just looks a little nicer, and the organization and stuff, and the way that the trays work while you're playing the game and keep like all the little icons together. Are really nice. And one thing that's really cool is it actually comes with little bits. So if I have something with a suitcase icon and your borough needs to know that, it's easier to see what's in other people's neighborhoods
Yes.
because of those little tiles. So that is very nice. Now you could get something for your own game to approximate those types of things, but that's pretty sweet. So either way, just try Suburbia if you haven't played it because it's fantastic.
incredible.
It's a beautiful tile laying game where you're building cities, and then where the tiles are adjacent to other tiles is wonderful and creates bonuses, and you get income, and you ultimately want to have the most people in your city possible.
Yeah.
And that is Suburbia, which is our number 3. Whatever version you get is a good version indeed. So let's go ahead and jump into Board Game Geek's number 2.
And our number 2.
Double crossover.
Double crossover. We've had double crossovers twice this list. Twice this
We
list.
feel very similarly.
What do we have this time? We have the Castles of Burgundy.
A
classic.
It's just good. Oh, it's so good.
So good. It's a game where you're rolling out dice, and based on those dice, you get little tiles to then place down into your estate. It's super tile placement.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it at first. I'm like, oh yeah, duh.
That's literally all it
That's
is,
literally all you're doing. What do you think of Castles of Burgundy, Steph?
Amazing. I've played hundreds and hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I play it online, boop, 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 just one game and like done, and just I play it all the time. Like it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Agreed. It's awesome. Yeah, the app I like. You can play online. You can play the game. It's just. It's wonderful. You get these dice, and it's
So
all
much
about
to love.
Yeah, but it's all about
There's no
manipulating
ride
those
being as good
dice.
as it is.
Yeah, and there's so many avenues to points. It's just a point salad. Everything gets you points. You complete this area. That's great. You get some points. You get all of your animals done. Oh my God, that's points.
Yeah. It's really good.
It's so fun.
It's really good.
It's so fun. And then with those, the knowledge tiles can give you end-game scoring, in-game abilities, and it's just super interesting and fun to fill out your estate in different ways. I like that you can have everyone plays a standard setup for the board, or you can have different estates that have the castles in different areas and different layouts, so that can change up how you approach the game
It's
potentially.
ranked 15 overall for a reason. It's that good.
We're
It
not
is.
alone. It's number 2 for both of our lists.
All those
Clearly.
heads out there.
All
you
those
know?
feldies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Castle Burgundy is super duper fun, and now I just want to play it. Every time we do
I
these
know.
lists,
Now
I
we're
get-
talking about it. I just want to play.
Yeah, really.
All right, so we're gonna not do number 1. We're gonna play Castle Burgundy. We'll play it online together. But check it out. It's literally a classic. It's a game that for a long time we had not played yet, and Q was saying it's a classic. It's a classic. And then finally we played it, and we're like, oh, I get why it's so well liked.
I get it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's just fantastic, and everything is just putting down those tiles. Very much tile placement, and it's an appropriately mechanicked game.
Yes.
Tile placement. And number 2 for all of us, number 15 overall. So all that we have left is to get to the number 1s. We're going to start with Board Game Geek's number 1. So number 1 this time is a game that has tile placement in it. It's ranked number 3 overall. It is well liked, and it is Terraforming Mars.
Yeah.
This is a game where you're landing on Mars, and you have to get the planet a little bit warmer, a little bit more air filled, and you gotta get some oceans going to sustain some life and all that. And so that's where the tiles come in, is that we're all working on Mars together. I might put out some greenery tiles that increase the forest, which increase the oxygen. Steph does something which increases the temperature. Nick gets an ocean placed out because he brought the temperature up to 0, which melted the ice caps.
Yep.
So we're all working on the planet together, and then we have our own individual little engines and stuff we're building up. And so you kind of get credit for, like, you made the planet good, man. Get some points.
Thanks.
With a terraform rating. What's everyone think of Terraforming Mars?
I like it just the base game. I mean, there's so many expansions, but it just adds too much for me that it's just overwhelming, I think. And so I could focus mostly on the base game and enjoy that. But it can be brutal at times if you're not getting what you want, or overall, it's a game I enjoy.
That's fair. That's very fair. I mean, a lot of people have said that with cards and stuff. If you don't get the cards you want, it can be pretty brutal.
Yeah, it can be tough when you're like, okay, I'm going to do this strategy, and then you just
never get a
cannot
greenery
get any
card
of the
of any
cards
kind,
that
yeah.
help with that strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're like, no,
been there.
I wanted to do this, and the cards are
Yeah.
like, nah.
And so, I mean, that's one of those things that we talked about earlier with, like, Gingopolis and stuff. It's like, it's a game that kind of forces you to be adaptable.
Yeah.
But it can, for whatever reason, sometimes it just hurts more. You're like,
sucks.
no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we love Terraforming Mars. I do agree, Steph. I probably like the base game with Prelude, because Prelude just jumpstarts stuff. I don't mind Venus next, because all it is, for the most part, is more cards. And it can be still a lot. There's still a lot of cards, but like we have like colonies, and I'm always kind of like, I just don't need any of this. Like I'm fine with playing it.
Sure.
But I'm just like, I like the base game. There's already so much strategy. I like the other boards. You have the Hellas and Elysium. I like those
those
boards
are
because it
easy
changes
enough
up
to
stuff a
implement.
little
I like
bit.
the boards.
But yeah, I'm all about the base.
Yeah, give me that base and
Megan
Prelude, and we're
Schrader,
good. Anything
yeah.
else on top of it is fine, but I need that Prelude. I need that base game. I need Nick to pay attention.
Sorry.
You know, you got lost me. He thought he was on Mars.
So
for a
I know
second.
I
You started
kicked
wondering.
our recorder, and I was worried that I actually turned it off.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So-
Well, sweet. Anyway, so that's number 1, though. It's number 3 overall. So regardless of what we think, y'all out there quite like Terraforming
Number 3
Mars.
overall. That's
I
number
think
3.
it's going to take the first position soon.
You think so? You think it's gonna go number 1?
Ooh, I love
I do.
that prediction.
That's my prediction.
I love that. It's not
Toppling
going anywhere.
Gloomhaven, but what about Frosthaven?
I think it's going to pass Gloomhaven. There's just more people that enjoy Terraforming
That's
Mars.
true. There's an accessibility level that's higher there because, I mean, you go to a convention, you
Terraforming
see
Mars
it
has
everywhere
been
still.
arguably the most popular game in the last 10 years. I mean,
Yeah.
I would agree.
It's made a splash.
Yeah, just
that
fine,
Terraforming
just
Mars did, and it's good enough for number 1 in terms of tile placement from you, the folks at Board Game Geek. So let's go ahead and get into our number 1 to finish this bad boy on up.
Our number 1, we kind of touched on already, is Feast for Odin, coming at
course it
23
is.
overall.
One could say
it
it's the
is.
best game
Of
of all
course it
time.
is.
One could
It's
say that it should be the
so
top of
Uwe
the list.
Rosenberg for the win.
Oh, Feast
so
for Odin
good.
is so good. It's so incredible. We already
so
talked
good.
about it. It's just good. Go play it.
All the reasons we cited are still true. It's just beautiful.
It's a
Beans
beautiful game.
to fish.
I love that
fam.
you could feed your people or you could just pay your people. You could put tiles down on your board or you just put money down. Money fixes
You're
all
just paying
problems.
them off.
Yeah.
I love it.
One thing I like about Feast for Odin, we didn't touch on before, is it's a game where it's all about efficiency.
Yeah.
Like, you never want to waste turns. So the way I judge how well I did in the game is how much stuff I have left over. Like, if I have all these tiles,
Just in your player area.
yeah, in my player area that I was not able to put on my main board, I wasn't able to put on an island or a log cabin. If I have a ton of stuff left over, that means I played a very inefficient game.
Yeah.
Because that means I spent time and workers to go get all this stuff
For what?
that I then didn't use. Which means, in my opinion, even if I won that game, at least from my personal view of how I played, I'm like, I didn't play very well. Because I played a very inefficient game. You want it where you perfectly fill up everything and have nothing left over. The game is all about efficiency.
Right.
And I find that to be fascinating, especially in a game where you can take so many routes to victory. And then on top of that, it's ultimately all about efficiency. I find to be this is incredible.
It's super cool. I mean, there's a lot to love as we gushed about when it first came up for the Board Game Geek list. Feast for Odin just has a lot to explore, which I feel like really lives within the Viking theme. It's all about exploration, and this game is all about exploration. And so that is the end of our lists. How do you think we did, folks? We had 2 true crossovers this week, the double-double crossover. So I think our feelings about tile placement games were pretty in line with the folks that rank their games on Board Game Geek.
Yeah.
You know, and some people say, you know what, like, all this game should have been way higher, and they're talking about the Board Game Geek list. And so what I say to those people is, like, go and rank your games. You can change how these games list. We were talking about Isle of Cats, and when we talked about it a few weeks ago, it was a heck of a lot different rank than it was now. And that's in a very short, hundreds and hundreds of spaces.
I mean, I think it was like 600 or 700 different.
Yeah,
so that's like a
massive.
huge. So just because people got the game from Kickstarter and started playing it, ranked it. Look at that, boom, just like that.
I think it's a lot
600 spots.
And I think there's a lot of power there. Like, that's cool that you know that, like, what you do and how you rank your games, like, really changes the landscape for future visitors of the website, and they'll see how these, I'm like, that's really kind of neat. Yeah. So if you don't have your game collection at Board Game Geek, create a profile and input all of your games, put in games that you want to have, a little wish list for yourself, rank those games and get in the discussion, because it's just cool to see how it influences all areas of the website. It's very neat. In the comments, put your top tile placement games. Which ones really speak tile placement to you? And make sure you give some suggestions for types of lists, game mechanics, designers that you would like to see us do a list on and compare to you, the folks at Board Game Geek, the users. We'll happily do that. And until next time, everybody, I've been Mike.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Steph.
And that was our top 10 tile placement games. We'll see you next time.
Three Amigos out.
Bye.